Wednesday's game against PSG in the Champions League. And with the Premier League looking pretty much done and dusted, you'd say that Liverpool can turn their attention to the Champions League more so than the Premier League. And so Liverpool finished first in the league phase, and they rewarded with a match against PSG. And it's a tough tie, but I think people should remember that PSG did struggle in the league phase, and there was a time that people thought they might be eliminated from the Champions League. So do you think that despite the big name Paris Saint-Germain, do you think that Liverpool could get some joy against PSG, particularly maybe if they get pressed really high away from home?
Yeah, you would think so. I think if you get anything like a kind of draw or even just a 1-0 defeat away from home, I think Liverpool will fancy the chances of getting through at Anfield. So it's just kind of that first leg is all about kind of keeping it tight. And, as much as they are a huge name, they've got some absolutely brilliant footballers in the team who you've got to be wary of. It's still one where, for me, Liverpool are massive favourites. I mean, you saw City go over there and give them a bit of trouble. It was obviously that game got turned around in the end, but City were winning, weren't they? And they were doing okay. So PSG can be vulnerable. They can be got at. We've seen enough evidence of that in the group phase as well. So I don't think it's one that Liverpool should be fearing. But the key thing is, you've got to kind of keep it tight in that first leg, because I think PSG will be at the most dangerous there. And if you get, if they have Liverpool have an off night, that attacking unit that PSG have got can put themselves 2 or 3 goals up. They're that good. So it's all about avoiding that off night and being as solid as possible. And if they do that, and Liverpool give themselves every chance of going through. And yeah, like I said, if they get even a narrow defeat in the away leg, I would still fancy them big time to turn it around at Anfield and go through. So a draw or a win of any sort for Liverpool in that first leg, and you really, really would fancy them.
Yeah, that was actually going to be my follow-up question about whether you take a draw away from home and then take it to Anfield. But I did also want to ask you about Liverpool's side of the draw in the Champions League as well. So if Liverpool get past PSG, they'll face either Club Brugge or Aston Villa. And then if we get past them, and you'd back Liverpool to get past Club Brugge or Aston Villa, but should they get to the semi-final, then you could face teams like Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. So what do you make of the side of the draw? Do you think that it's difficult, but they'd have to overcome these teams anyway? So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Barcelona got the kind of side, slightly kind of side of the draw, which is a little frustrating from Liverpool's perspective. But I think, I saw some of the reaction to the draw actually, and kind of I think people thought that this group phase would take any sort of look of the draw out of it completely. That's clearly never going to be the case, and I'm absolutely fine with Liverpool finishing top and getting a tough one, because and at the end of the day, you've got to factor in that it has kind of worked out nicely for them in that if they do get through this PSG one, which I don't think is a disaster anyway, but if you do get through this one, then again, like you say, you then Club Brugge or Aston Villa away from getting to a European Cup semi-final. So it's it's not as bad as maybe as being made out. And the fact is, I also think it's not a bad thing for Liverpool either if they were to face Real Madrid in this competition, to do it over 2 legs as well. You don't want to be playing them in a final again, because that seemingly never goes well. So hopefully that will work out better for them as well. But I just look at all the games that Liverpool can have there, and starting with this PSG tie, and then anyone who come after that is very, very winnable. Because for me, this is what we're seeing at the moment, and particularly the way they come back into form recently, is the best team in Europe. So the chances to prove it are there now, and they can hopefully go and do that, starting with the PSG game.